looking at it from the perspective of the potential volunteer, why would they be afraid to get involved? I mean, some of them are just so busy trying to survive, I understand.
Yes, and that's a big one. You do have to have some time that you can
So
put
first you
into
have to have
this.
time.
Yeah.
But is there any reason they need to be afraid?
No, absolutely none. You are not going to interact with anyone who is really dangerous. Okay? They don't get programs. Okay? They are not permitted to run with scissors. They're kept locked up.
Mm-hmm.
But the ones who have earned the right, because of their good behavior, to participate in programs are hungry for programs, for knowledge, for human interaction with someone who treats them like a person.
And the classroom environments, I
Yes.
imagine, are supervised and regulated anyway.
Well, there will be an officer who'll come by and look in the door, and you've got a phone and probably an emergency button. But the safest people in prison are the volunteers.
Okay.
Inmates
I don't know that most people would think that.
Inmates value volunteers, all volunteers.
Really?
No matter what their religion is, no matter what they're teaching, inmates as a group value volunteers as a group because they bring the outside world inside. Because they treat them like people. They talk to them like they're human. They teach them skills. They help them find out things about themselves. It's an interaction in an almost free environment.
Okay.
So that
monitored but almost free.
Exactly. It's monitored, but it's not, they don't hang over your shoulder. And the volunteers are cherished. Inmates will throw themselves in front of an idiot doing something stupid to protect a volunteer.
Okay.
And people need to not be afraid. It is remarkably rewarding emotionally. Because the inmates...
Which kind of leads to the stigma of being incarcerated.
Yes.
Because stigma, like most stigmas, are based on perceptions, rarely on facts.
Yes, usually very erroneous perceptions.
Very erroneous perceptions.
And so these people, the inmates that you would be working with, get a better sense of self. Get a better sense of the value of other. Okay, here's someone who cares about me, comes in and teaches me things, talks to me like I'm human. This is a real person. There are other real people.
Well, and I'm sure that the volunteers learn a lot from being around the inmates, residents.
The system calls them offenders. I don't like the term.
Okay.
I tend to use inmate. Some of the inmates use convict, and I don't know why, but they do. That's where they live. They're inmates. As a matter of fact, there's one gentleman that I work with who is never going to be getting out, ever. And he has come to a place in his own life, after raging for years, where this is where I live. It's not who I am. He has his religion. He has meaningful work. He has art and music. This is where I live.
But that's a very positive place to get to, and not a place to get to easily.
No.
And goodness, so to be a volunteer, really, all you have to do is have the nerve to walk up to someone you don't know and say, "Hi, my name is."
Yeah.
I agreed to come here to teach whatever.
Yes.
Do
you have any questions? Can I help you?
You know, do you have any questions? Can I help you? But also to come with a certain awareness that in being a teacher, to also be a student.
Yes.
You know,
I have learned as much from them, if not more, than they have learned from me.
I'm here to teach a skill, but we're going to learn how to relate to each other in the process.
We're going to be human together.
Boy, is that a challenge. We're going to be human together.
We're going to be human together, yes.
It reminds me of the thing I read in the newspaper many, many years ago, where someone was reporting on letters to Dear Abby or Ann Landers, one of the two, and the report was that the one thing the readers always seemed to have the biggest problem with was when parents, especially I guess, when they were encouraged to allow their children to make mistakes. That was the thing they argued against more than anything else. The freedom to make mistakes.
And that is our most valuable freedom, because that's where you learn. The best lessons are the ones that cost you some sweat. Or some sleepless
And
nights.
very close to that, not identical, but very close, the freedom to disagree.
Yes.
Because there are, I mean, even in terms of English grammar, there were parts of speech in English grammar that I did not understand until I studied German.
Yes, and then you saw where they came from.
And then I saw where they came from, but it made the dynamics so much clearer that is that what it is? Well, now it's perfectly clear.
Yeah, and it now makes sense because you got it in a better context.
Yeah. So studying German helped me speak better English.
Right. And learning anything, learning how to weld, can help them learn how to relate to people better.
Well, and also to be open to learning about and to relating to a new material.
Yes.
You know, I've never
skill, whatever.
I've never done welding before. How does steel work? How does iron work? How does tin work? And understanding how one is different from the other, but there's certain basics that run between them all.
Anything that one learns, hopefully, expands one's ability to learn.
Well, that's why they said if every time you learn a foreign language, it makes it easier to learn another foreign language. Every skill you acquire makes it easier to learn another
next skill. Exactly.
Because you have things to relate it to and compare it to, and so your ability to learn new things just keeps expanding.
You know, and if your only real skill is that you can cook the best meth in the world, but you know how to do that, and there's a certain amount of chemistry involved there. So there are other useful, growthful, positive things.
Transferable skills.
Transferable skills that could feed off of that. Yes, you learned how to do that. What else could you learn how to do?
Well, maybe they wind up inventing the best spaghetti sauce anyone ever tasted.
I think Newman already did that.
We all have our favorites. In any case.
So I want to encourage everybody to at least consider the possibility that either in a prison or a jail, or in an aftercare program, or with your community center or your church,
Some kind of social support group.
to bring forward an opportunity for offenders and ex-offenders to reconnect with humanity in a meaningful way, so that they can move forward and be growthful and become good citizens and not be a drain on our pocketbooks and our culture.
And that we may also benefit from their contributions.
Absolutely.
I mean, I really believe that every person is a care package from God. This package that we don't really know what the contents are, and until you open the lid and take out everything that's in it, you'll never know what the possibilities are.
And what you can learn, what little piece of something that will make everything else suddenly click. And you can pick that up from any person.
Well, and in some cases, there's even something we've been trying to deal with for years and haven't been able to figure it out, and someone comes along and says, oh, well, you just do this.
Yeah.
It's like,
duh.
oh, why didn't I think of that?
And that can come from anywhere.
Well, because the divine hid it within them.
Yes.
And perhaps the divine even had something to do with bringing them into your life.